All right, Papa, tell us what's going on with your kid.
We're sleep training her, and it sucks. It
Talk to
sucks
me.
because um, I don't know. It just sucks hearing her cry. But when it comes to
Wait,
sleep training, you have to let her cry until she gets tired of crying.
what's this?
She
What's
needs
sleep
to.
training?
What sleep
Explain
training? It's
explain
where
that to people
you.
that don't have kids.
It's where you train your kid to sleep on their own. You don't cuddle with them. You don't sing them lullabies, or you don't rock them. You just put them in the crib and then let them do their thing, kind of like adults. you know if I was to ask you, you don't need to be rocked to sleep. If you're tired, you just go to bed
I,
and sleep.
I,
So
I I would I would
this
love for me to see someone rock me to sleep.
I don't know, that's just uncomfortable for me. Right.
That's gotta be a you gotta be really strong.
Maybe a rocking chair will do. uh
Well, so it's kind of like potty training for dogs, but sleep. Is that what it is?
I guess so. I guess that's what it is.
It's
um
conditioning is what you're trying to say.
right. Because if we don't do that, then it will be a struggle for us too. Why? Because she's going to be super dependent on us, and that's not something that we wanted for her. We wanted her to be more independent, so she can, support herself. It's not a bad thing. It, it you know how parenting is kind of like a religion, right? Like, everyone
Explain
has their
that.
everyone has their own way of parenting, right? Some will say, "Oh, why the heck would you do that to your kids when, can you like stand them crying and you feel sorry for them? Like, they make you feel like you're abandoning your kid." It's a struggle. Some,
So it
right?
goes against it goes against your nature as a parent, especially if your kid
Well,
is
it
crying,
is.
right?
It is
Like you
tough.
want to
It is
like
tough.
pick them up and be like, "Hey, stop crying."
Yeah, yeah, and calm
Little
them
person.
down. However,
Yeah.
if you keep doing that, then they don't learn how to, like, let's say in terms of sleep, they're gonna rely on you for sleeping,
Right.
and we don't want that dependence on us. Like, we want her to be more independent. It's better for her, it's better for us. It's a skill that we wanted her to have, but for her to get that skill, we need to deprive her of, we're kind of like her crutches, right? She can't
Hmm.
sleep if she doesn't get rocked, or if her parents are not around or something.
She's like this drug addict. You got a
Well,
cold
it's kind of
turkey.
like a drug, right? It's kind of like with breast milk, right? Like, sometimes it takes a while for them to um I don't know, let me start all over. With, like, with breast milk, they crave that stuff. And, well, my fiance is going to go back to work soon. She can't keep doing that, right? So eventually she's going to have to get off of that drug, the breast milk. But to do that, you have to wean her off, right? So is she going to go cold turkey on her, or are we going to do this gradually? We've been training her, and I keep messing things up. It's actually my fault why she's like that, because we've been co-sleeping with her. I wanted to sleep with her, you know, throughout the night, and I guess she's gotten used to that. Not just by herself in her crib, so it's a totally different thing for her. And now
Can I be
she's,
honest? Can I be honest with you?
what's that? Sure.
I am so bored with this conversation. Like I'm just zoning out. But that's what you get for Balikbayan Box, baby.
That's exactly what you're gonna get from from Balikbayan
Balikbayan Box.
Box.
All right, let's talk
Balikbayan
about
Box.
let's talk about Balikbayan Box. So
Um, Tell them about how you and I are almost getting to an argument. I was thinking about that too. Our conversation. We're not really arguing about something. I wasn't trying to argue with you.
Okay, let's give it a little a preview. Okay,
A
so
backstory.
yeah, you wanna take this?
No, you take it this time because I've been I've been talking about baby stuff earlier, so now it's your turn.
Okay.
I'll let you take the
Okay.
lead in this one.
So um post last episode,
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded this app that tracks like analytics when it comes to our podcast, our channel.
Mm-hmm.
And the results were, without delving into it specifically, pretty promising, positive. It was
Mm-hmm.
good. I,
Mm-hmm.
there was we created this Instagram account
Mm-hmm.
for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast also this week. So I feel like we have this cool little momentum going. So,
Mm-hmm.
obviously we do have our private chat together,
Yeah, yeah.
separately.
Right,
And,
right.
wanted to share that good news, some of
Right.
those good news. And then how when you're like a little kid and you're like you're trying to show something to your parents, like, look, mom, I made this stick figure, this art, but to me this is like Mona Lisa. This is like the
Right.
first step. And then your parents were like, "Hmm, wala akong pakialam." It's like, I don't care, I got stuff to do, little boy, get off of
Oh,
me. That
Mona Lisa
that
smashed.
basically just grabbed Mona Lisa and just smacked it on my head. That's basically what you did. You
I
crushed my
know.
spirit.
And I felt bad after.
You,
I felt
you
bad
crushed.
after. And I wasn't
You
trying.
told you told me that my Mona Lisa was just a stick figure, and you smashed it on my head like a douchebag.
In my head, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't mean to blow your bubbles. It's just that here's what's happening in my head. How, I'm going to try to explain why I
Explain
responded
it
that
on
way.
yeah. Explain it on
Yeah,
your
because
side.
then you're like, hey, maybe you should start posting stuff on Instagram. And then to me, first thing that came to my head is, Diamond, that's content creation. When in terms of creating content, that means I need to, well, spend time to create a content, right? So then I tried to,
I forgot about this
get Beho.
conversation, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, I tried. Then I was like, hey, why don't we get Beho to create the content for us? Because again, I don't have the time.
Can you
And
can
that's
you
what I'm scared of.
pause? Can you pause with that point real quick? I just want to interject something.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's another issue. Here's another thing that I take issue with when it comes to what you just said about Bejo.
Yeah.
First of all, the Balikbayan Box is Ralph and Ramon's podcast. So, I'm just assuming that it's you and I. And then for you to
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, let's add this person. Obviously it's Bejo. It's one of our very close friends, but he doesn't have a dog in this fight. This is our baby. It's you and
I,
I's baby.
I get it. I get it. I
So I
get
was like,
that.
why is this dude like trying to? Okay,
And
if you
here's the
want to do that,
thing.
go ask
Like,
him
well,
yourself then.
yeah, because then here's the thing. Like, when it comes to podcast, we are doing a podcast right now. But when it comes to
Hmm.
podcast, it's not just you and I talking. There are some other things that are happening in the back end, right? Like, there's the recording, there's the trying to piece things together,
So
there's
it's,
the uploading part, right?
it's
So,
production and all that.
right. There's a lot of things that happen in the back end, and we have to spend time doing that. Now, if you were to add a like, if you were to have an Instagram account, which is good, um, that basically means we have to be consistent. I notice
Right.
because I post
Agree.
stuff consistently, and when you're trying to post stuff consistently, again, here comes the issue with time, right? You have to spend
Right.
time doing that. And not only that, it's not just a matter of typing stuff up. Like, you have to post something that's relevant to people that people are going to care about. You know what I mean? Because that's what I
Yeah.
do with my blog. Because that's what I would do with my blog. That's what I do with my artwork. And to add this thing into the bucket is like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. I can do it once in a while, but am I going to be consistent? Probably not, due to the time.
Yeah. Okay. So
But that's
so
where
so
because
here.
that's where I was coming from.
Right. And to kind of, not a rebuttal, but to respond to that statement, here's what
Mm-hmm.
I say. So yeah, you did mention about like post production, production, and all that stuff about
Mm-hmm.
recording it, putting it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um, a little bit behind the scenes for
Mm-hmm.
people. I'm the one who does that. I'm like, right now, I feel like I'm a single mother. I don't have daddy. I don't have papa with me. I'm the one. I'm the only one raising this kid. God dang it!
What?
And I asked for one little thing. You make this little post. Guys, to actually to put you guys in this little peek behind the curtain. It takes a while to make these videos and put them together, and
It does. It
like
does. And I know that too.
obviously, yeah, obviously, it's not. I'm not an expert at it, but it's something that we work on every single week,
Yep.
and
And that's why I
it,
bring these people in, right? To help out, because I'm pretty sure this is not the only thing that you do, in the week. You have other things in life that you got to focus on.
I have other things that I'm trying to, like. I have this music thing that we just, for
Right?
everybody knows. Bejo is actually a part of the band as well.
Hey, there you go.
We just put out a song this week. If you guys want to check it out, Reverb Nation / Old Bra. We just put out a song,
Okay.
and that's another thing that needed to be marked to be marketed out to people. So that's
Right. Right.
we did some of that.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want to hear no excuse about I don't have time, because on top of all that, I
Mm-hmm.
also have a full-time job that I work every single day.
Don't you think I know that? Right?
Not gonna complain. I don't say anything about it, And all I wanted to hear from you is like, all right, good job, bro. That Mona Lisa looks good. That drawing looks good. Instead of,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Beho to do it. You can send me Beho. In
Well, no, you
order,
have a
in
point.
order,
You have a point.
in order for this partnership to work, it's got to be 50-50, bro.
It
It's
it
got to be
has to be.
50-50.
But that's why I'm like, huh, to do that, well then, well, again, I need to put time into it. I don't know if you know, but I'm super fucking busy too.
I'm not,
And
I'm not disputing that.
right, right.
That I'm not
But
disputing
that's the
that.
thing. Like it becomes a struggle for me to create the time to do it. And if I want to do something, I want to do it properly. You know what I mean? I don't
Right,
want to just
right.
slap something in there. I want to put good quality content out there.
I agree.
Because
That I
that's
agree.
really because that's your brand too. Like you're the Ralph who plays the band, and the Ralph in this podcast, right? This
Right,
podcast is really just another way for us to put ourselves out there,
right. It's
right?
expression,
Right.
self-expression.
And I want to, and this is how I'm seeing the podcast. This is just kind of like a it's not, we're not going to be super heavy on it. If you're gonna double down on something, because it's hard when you're trying to focus on two different things at the same time. But I know you're focusing more on your music stuff because that's your stuff, that's your thing. And for myself, like I focus on my writing, right, right. And on top of that, you have a full-time job. I have a full-time job as well. And then
But
here comes the balance, right? How do
yeah,
we
yeah.
how do we how do we balance it in such a way that we're not hurting, our other ventures or our other stuff in our life, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Here's how I look at it when it comes to that.
Mhm.
Like the justification of how you can put more time into like the art,
Mhm.
because I feel that that saying, rising tide raises all ships. Have you heard of that saying?
Not really, but I can
Oh,
kind of see I can kind of understand what that is saying, or
okay.
whatever that saying is saying.
Yeah. It doesn't directly apply 100% to what I'm trying to say, but basically what I'm trying to say to that is all this, even the work that you're putting, if you set aside a little bit of time to work on the art, that
Mhm.
still helps with your skill as an artist.
I understand.
Yeah, and at the same
I
time,
agree.
it'll help us,
Yep.
and it'll help, it's not like it's a whole completely separate skill that you have
It's
to
not.
learn.
Nope.
Right. So
They're
that's
connected.
where yeah, that's where I was coming from. Like, okay,
And I
it
understand that.
makes
Like,
sense. Yeah, and that's your lane. That's your lane of our partnership. You're the art person. So I'm like, I'm not gonna make art. I don't know how to
well,
make
that's the
art.
thing. That's what and here's where my struggle is, right? Like, remember first, if you guys were to watch the first episode, we were struggling on how I was struggling, not you.
Hey,
I was struggling on
I'm
how to
I'm sorry.
define myself.
I'm sorry. You're making a lot of noise. I don't know what's
Oh,
going on with that.
how about now? It's probably my mic. I mean,
Yeah, it's doing it again.
really?
Uh, okay, you're good.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Um, okay, where was I? I was lost. Oh, so because remember, if you guys were to watch the first episode, I was struggling to introduce myself because I don't know, like, do I want to go in as an artist or do I want to go in as a writer? Right now, I'm focusing on writing, and after a while, I realized that I love to write, and I want to be more known for writing than for creating art. Because after a while, I realized that I suck at creating art. You may disagree, but I don't see I see myself better as a writer as opposed to producing an artwork. You know what I mean? So
That's
then,
fine.
there's
Okay, keep
there's that
going. Finish
struggle,
your
right?
point.
So then there's that struggle. Now, let's now going back to the Instagram thing, right? Um, Me doing that, maybe it'll help. I guess I don't know. I know a tool that I can use to produce content, but then again, I want to produce something good out there, right? I don't want just want. And if you were to produce something good, it takes time. You know what I mean? And if it takes time, that means my the next challenge is consistency. Can I be consistent? The answer right now is probably not, because of those other things that I'm focusing on. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
if this podcast was a baby or our baby, well, we got to make sure that we don't make it so big that we're struggling to feed it. You know what I mean? Because
You
there's
see,
a lot of
that's
things that we can do.
that's where I disagree,
Okay.
because I don't think that we're not making it big that we can't handle it. It's just it's a natural progression to putting the content out there. You have to have a social media presence in order to get more people to come listen, come check it out. And
I
for
agree.
the demographic and the people that we want to reach to, more than likely we'll probably have Instagram and Facebook. So that's the main.
Right. And I do, again, like uh, when it comes to, like, posting stuff out there, I've done that too. And you get to well, I'm just talking based on my experience. I've gotten to a point where I'm consuming a lot of content, and I also have produced a lot of content, and it gets to a point where you burn out. You burn out to a point where, like, what the heck am I doing? And you just stop producing content. I don't know if you noticed how my last post on Instagram was a long time ago. I haven't created art for a very long time. However, I'm not posting anything. However, there are some, I don't know, I'd say a few months ago, I was able to uh, uh, well, produce art and got paid for it. And I even, uh, used a software to, record my not record my progress, but to kind of like take a video of what I'm drawing so that I can post it on YouTube and stuff. So that's, again, those are all content. When you're drawing, you're creating a video out of your drawing at the same time, and then you're doing video editing. then you upload it on YouTube. There's a lot of steps that goes into it, and sometimes doing that takes time. I'll be honest, I don't finish it right away. Sometimes it probably takes me a month to do that, because then I have to, piece things together, try to find time here, sneak in some work there. It's it if I take in too much, it becomes to a point where it's going to be a little too hard to manage. I guess that's where that's my concern. I want to make
You
sure that
see,
whatever I'm doing, it's manageable. Right?
you're coming on a perspective of a jaded person. You're I like basically right now I have all the steam and the momentum. I'm like, go, let's go, let's go. And you're like
And I
this
support that
grump.
too. I'm supporting
You're
that, but
you're like this grumpy old. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work because this and this and this.
it's not that it's not going to work.
I,
It's not that.
I,
It's
oh
it's
no, I get it. But you
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? You're like I don't need your energy, bro. I don't need that negative energy. You can ride my cape. All right.
Right.
I'm gonna take us to places. I just want you to trust me and
I
do
do
the
try.
stuff
I do.
that I ask you.
Well, that's the thing, and
And I refuse to be a single mother. I don't want to wash and dry. By the way, that's a super bad the movie. That's a good quote from that. You guys should watch that movie. It's pretty fun. I'm a single mother, man. I wash and dry. I can't be doing that.
I've seen that movie. I'll be honest. I didn't find it as funny as most people thought. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a different kind of humor. Uh,
I I'm not surprised, to be honest. I am not surprised.
I like Jonah Hill. Don't get me wrong. I like Jonah Hill. Um, I've seen funnier movies of him, so but it wasn't super bad. I guess that was their intro to to their fame. I'm thinking. I remember that movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you know that Seth, that's Seth, Seth Rogen,
Seth
right?
Rogen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Evan Goldberg, they produced it, and basically those, you know, Jonah Hill and what is his name? The other guy.
The nerdy dude.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. What's his name? The
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
actor.
I know
Uh,
what you're talking about. I
yeah,
know what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
So they both played Seth Rogen, and that's why his name is Seth. Yeah,
Oh,
Seth and Evan.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie a lot. So I know a lot of like
I
little.
think I've seen it twice. First time I saw it, I guess I didn't really pay much attention to it. Second time, uh, I'll be honest, I can't even remember. I
All right.
haven't. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it's
Um.
okay. So we kind of digressed, but
Right.
yeah. So we had we had a little argument, and we decided to just talk it out on on the episode because
Right. That's
this is
just
what this
yeah.
is what we want to do. We want to be as transparent as possible. Try to connect with.
And this is reality for you guys. Whoever's yeah, this is reality. And just so you guys know, this whole podcast from starting from episode one, it's just us shooting the shits, right? Like we're trying
Mhm.
to work things out as we go.
Right.
And you guys are noticing right now how Ralph and I have different priorities. And that's a challenge. Like, how do we make this thing work?
Right. Right.
None of this shit is scripted or anything like that.
No,
It
and
is a
that's why
fucking struggle.
yeah, and that's why I am against that whole. All right, let's. I'm not trying to not belittle, but I'm not trying to cater to our listeners to the point where like we have to have a set stuff that we got to talk about. I
Hmm.
like this. I like this free for all.
Yeah,
Don't
me
yeah,
too. It
and
is,
yeah, I don't want to do because you don't know who your listeners are, and one
yes.
listener could tell you like, oh yeah, I want you to talk about this, and then another one could be this. It's always different,
Yeah,
but if we stick to us being us, I feel like that will just kind of transfer over.
yeah.
But
I mean, it's all part of being authentic. Like none of this shit is
yeah,
again, none of this is scripted. Nothing's
nope,
planned out. We just decided to hit the record button, and then here we are. So
yeah,
if you guys are listening, or if you guys wanted to share your thoughts too, and how you
yeah. Just
guys have
click that
time,
just comment on the comment
yeah.
section
If
below.
it
Like,
if you
subscribe.
Yeah, and you can come up with like
Yeah,
a, I don't know, if you don't want to put your name out there because some people prefer to be anonymous, you can do that too. You can send us a private message and tell
yeah,
us what you think about the episode, or
yeah.
if there's
And
something that you wanted us to talk about, right? If you're
follow
struggling with
us.
life, or
Follow
Mhm.
us on Instagram, Balikbayan Box
Yeah,
Pod. Uh-huh.
and who knows,
Um,
maybe if you're feeling brave, then maybe we should put you on the podcast and we'll talk about it,
right, right.
right? You'll get my point of view, you'll get Ralph's point of view, and he and I. One of the reasons why we started this podcast is because we're like yin and yang, like we're opposites, like we have different opinions on pretty much everything.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, what are our similarities? Do we even have any similarities besides the
I
fact that
don't
we
know.
we we grew up in, the same place and we were friends in high
I
school?
don't know. There is some, but yeah, there are some similarities. I don't know what they are either. If
Yeah.
you're asking me on top of my head, I don't know.
Talk
Um,
to me off, like, not off the top of your head, but just kind of think about it a little bit. What do you think is our similarity right now? Well,
well, a big factor is that we grew up together. So since you and I grew up together, there are some things that you believed in, or you have some form, you have some beliefs in life that I also believe in. That's what we have in common.
like what?
Um, fuck, I don't know, man. Like this, like you're into art, maybe. No, that's not it. Um, maybe you're into talking about stuff, or I'll be honest, I don't know. This is a hard question to answer.
I don't think we have any similarities.
Well, no, like there's some music
I mean,
sometimes.
yeah. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a similarity, but
Right.
my point is, if we were to meet today, or not even today, just if we were to meet 10 years ago, whatever, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're gonna. I don't think would be. I don't think we would be friends.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, just because, like, we're just there's a clash. There's a clash on different things.
Yeah. But
And can
yeah, not on it.
yeah, and
Like,
can
don't get me wrong, not on everything, but on most things, right? There's a disagreement, and maybe that's part of me too. Like I always try to go against the grain, um, or maybe that's just me. Like I'm the same way at home. If people are thinking this, I'm thinking that. I like to
do
do
you
that because I like to challenge people's opinion.
do
Not,
you think, are you a contrarian? Do you
I
consider
think
yourself as a contrarian?
I think I am, yeah, because I like to challenge people's opinion, and you know, eh, it's really to gauge what they really know about their stuff. Sometimes I do it to test. Sometimes I do it to find out what they really know, if that makes sense. Sometimes I do it in purpose. Sometimes I don't do it in purpose. So I go both ways.
So do you do that just 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 because?
No, there's an intent behind it. Because
Yeah,
sometimes,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, maybe sometimes people just want to be your friend. They just want you to be their friend and just be like, all right, just have my back, instead of,
well, I don't
because sometimes, like, is that really your job? Like, is your job to, like,
know.
make them? Do you get
No,
what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't challenge people's opinion right after I meet them, right? Like you have to have some sort of like I guess a relationship like a closer relationship with this person before you start arguing with them. It's kind of like with
Okay.
family, right? It's kind of like with family. Like the closer you are to your family,
It still applies. What I said.
well,
Yeah, but it
what?
still applies. Like when I say like sometimes they just want you to be the family member, they just want you to be the friend.
Well, then there's a difference in that too, right? That I don't
Mhm.
do that all the time. I'm not saying that I do that 24/7. No, I'm that's not my default
Uh,
go-to
You used
reaction on everything.
you used to do that to me all the time, and I was so annoyed. That's why when I say the term your
Uh-huh.
online personality is very annoying, I stand
Yeah,
by that. Because like right now, maybe it's like it's the form of communication. Like
it is
you're not able to
exactly.
put
I,
your
I
what your
and that's always been my struggle. That's actually my thought of the week. Like I'm gonna write about it because like even with my fiance, sometimes that's what happens. I can't really explain what I want to explain right away, and I can't say it in such a way that it gets delivered properly. It always
mm-hmm,
comes off as offensive. It comes off
mm-hmm.
as an attack, when in reality, I'm not trying to attack you here. I'm trying to explain my thought. It's just that I couldn't describe it in such a way that it makes it easy for you to consume it.
But don't you think
Um,
that's a really big issue that you need to fix?
it is,
Because
and that's something that I wanted to fix, right?
yeah.
Um, an example that I can think of too is one of my coworkers that way, right? This guy would love to jump in, and um, sometimes he makes it look like he knows the stuff that he's talking about, and sometimes that bugs the shit out of me when someone tells me that talks about something, and I can kind of sense that they don't really know much about it. However, they sound pretty confident, right? There's an ego in there, and it makes it hard for me to, you know what? No, hold on. Like what I do sometimes is I ask them challenging questions that they're probably struggling to answer, but they give out an answer anyways, but it's a fluff answer, and that bugs me. And sometimes I can't. I find it so hard to get them to see that what you're saying isn't really making much sense, because there's how do I see, even now I'm struggling to describe
No,
it, right?
no, I get what you're saying because you've done that to me before. But let me offer you a different perspective when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
that. Have you ever considered that
Oh,
maybe I don't know what happened?
I don't know what
Can
happened
you
either.
can you okay? So have you ever considered that maybe there's also a communication issue when it comes to that the other person?
Big time.
The,
Big
yeah,
time.
like they do know what they're talking about. It's just that they can't
Yep.
communicate it well, and it comes off as, "Oh, I don't think you know what you're saying."
Yep. Yep. It's a struggle on both parties. um I I see that too. But now, since then, I realize that whenever I ask this person a challenging question, it annoys the shit out of him. Because then, if I ask him a question and he has a hard time answering it, and I make him look like he's a fool, it hurts his ego. And when I hurt his ego, it's not really helping me get my message across. You know what I mean? Like I find it hard to create this a team dynamic with this person, because like I smash his ego, or I damage, no, not damage his ego, but I say things that would hurt his ego
Well, not only that,
unintentionally.
yeah, not only that, yeah, unintentionally, but what you're doing is you're disrupting like harmony,
Yeah.
and it's not really. I don't think it's worth it.
No. And here's the thing. What I ended up what I ended up doing was, you know what, I acknowledged that he has an ego that he needs to take care of. So my next move was to, you know what, say things in such a way that it doesn't damage his ego. And things has gotten better. Things between us are okay now, though he still says things that annoys the fuck out of me, but it doesn't matter. I just like, kind of swallow it and not say anything because what's the point? I don't want to be, I'd rather, um, I, right, before I used to care about being right all the time, but now I care less about being right, but care more about the relationship that I have with people. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yeah.
that sounds fucking deep, but like, you know what I mean? Like if I get into an argument with my fiance, obviously, like I don't really care whose fault it is. I just wanted things fixed. I think it's the same thing with, like with parents and their kids, like if their kids are fighting, I don't care who's wrong or who's right, just fucking
Well,
fix it.
well, you weigh the pros and cons, and the old cliche, you pick your own battles. There,
Yep.
there are some things that it's just not worth it. It's just not worth all the energy and the negative,
Yeah.
all that crap. So you go through that for nothing. But
Yep.
there are times where it's worth to die on that hill. Like you stand your ground, and
Yep.
that's where the whole principle comes into
Mm-hmm.
play.
Mm-hmm.
People that have principles, they will stand by what they believe in,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what it is, the circumstances.
Yep. And now I've gotten better at noticing that. So when I notice that, I step back and just it's all yours. Floor is yours. I'm not even gonna try to argue against it because
You
I'm the same
know,
way. Like I have a
yeah,
strong opinion about things too, but I can't keep shoving my opinion to you because if you're not ready to listen, I'm not even gonna fucking try. I'll just okay, let's just leave it there. And when you're ready to listen, then okay, I'm gonna offer it. But if you're not ready to listen, let me just take all that energy in and let you state your case.
yeah. So I told you that your background is too dark because you don't have any light on. So turn on your happy light.
My happy light.
Yeah.
I had to,
And
right?
talk about what's going on right in that background. You got that
Oh, like what do we
Colombo.
what do we have there?
Yeah.
Have
What's it?
some uh skewered marshmallow with I don't even know what the fuck it is. Like you have marshmallow and then you have the pocky or pokey sticks
Pocky. Yeah.
or pocky, right? Shoved into it. I don't know. That's the
Hmm.
best way I can describe it.
What do you wanna share the reason why you have that or not?
Oh yeah, my daughter is celebrating her birthday tomorrow, so
Yeah. Awesome.
lots of preparation here.
Yeah. Oh,
I haven't really done much of the, you know, I haven't done much of the prepping because I'm busy
Papa's
at work.
Papa's gotta record. Papa's gotta work. Papa gotta make that money. Gotta make that
That's right.
Canadian dollar.
That's right. But anyways, let's get back to the topic of communication, right?
Yeah,
Trying to communicate
communication.
something and making sure that the other person is understanding what you're
Yeah,
trying to communicate, because that's not always the case. Um,
yeah. Well, as far as what we've talked about so far,
mhm.
you can apply that to all the aspects of the communication in your life. It could range from your professional relationships
Mhm.
to your family, your personal relationships, to your partner, to your
Yep.
family. It
Yeah.
all it all it's all encompassing. Like it's all going towards the same exact like road.
Mm.
And as far as going back to just go back to your issue when it comes to sometimes you admitted it yourself, you come off as offensive, and I can agree, I 1000% agree to that. and it's good that you're aware.
I am aware,
But being
fully aware of
aware,
it.
yeah, being aware is only a part of the journey because you have
100%.
to.
Okay, here's what's happening in my head. People come in different flavors, right? Um, and my mistake was to um, treat one person the same way as I would treat the others. See, the way I'm talking to you right now, this is not how I talk to other people, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's different, and it's different for my fiance. It's different for my parents. It's different for my sister. It's different for my brother. It's different for my coworkers, right? Sometimes if I don't have that relationship um, built up yet, if there's no strong bond between me and that person, um, me stating my strong opinions, like sometimes I don't even share it. Sometimes just let them say whatever, like, support them with whatever the heck they want to say, because I
Right.
wanted to build that that relationship between this new acquaintance.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, am
Yeah.
I making sense?
Yeah. Finish your point, and then I have something to add.
Right. All I'm saying is, like, people come in different flavors, and then I treat, and because they come in different flavors, um, I try to change my approach depending on the person's personality. If a person has a big ego, well, I gotta give him that ego, right? Not saying that this person has, I'm not saying that
A big
as a
ego
bad
can.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what
if,
I was about to say. That big ego
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean bad.
right. It's not that. I'm not saying that it's a bad
Successful
thing.
people, successful people have the biggest egos, and that's what makes them successful.
Might have to disagree with that
Oh, you're
one.
gonna just. Oh, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Okay. Well,
Not success. Yeah, like who's
talk to me. What?
when it comes to success, like which successful people are we talking about here?
I'd say traditionally, the business wise, the
You're
people
being
that
vague again. You're being
run.
vague. I'm
You think
talking
I'm
about
being
a
vague?
specific. Yeah, you need to be more specific.
Like
Do you know a
like
person? Name a
oh, like
person.
personally or like
Not
someone.
personally. Someone famous. That has a big ego.
Michael Jordan, Kobe
Okay.
Bryant,
Okay.
business wise, Donald Trump, all big egos.
What makes them successful?
A part of it is their big ego, their personality, their drive. You have to believe in yourself, and with that
I,
comes with that it comes with the territory. Because if you
I get
don't, yeah, if you don't think that you're special, if you don't think that, hey, I'm the best, nothing's gonna
right.
happen to them.
Right. Now, do you know anybody though who's successful but doesn't really have a big ego? Nothing famous, I'm sure.
Yeah, not off the bat. Not no nothing
Right.
that I.
You're not gonna think of someone famous who's that way. I mean, who? Yeah, probably famous because fame changes you, right? It changes you. Um, but there are a lot of successful people out there that are not famous, and those are the ones that I'm drawn to because they don't have a
Mm,
big ego. All they want to do is they just want to help people. Um, right? If you're not ready to listen, okay, move on. Like, I'm not even gonna try to convince you to believe what the heck I'm saying. I'm just gonna move on, and I'll I'll talk, and people, whoever wants to listen can listen. Whoever doesn't want to listen, that's okay too. Um, uh, this goes back to that book that I can't remember which episode I where I mentioned that, but, like, ego is the enemy. Um,
was it
it,
by?
it, Ryan Holiday. Um, yeah, people with the big. Oh, you know what this reminded me of?
Hmm.
Peter. Now we're gonna get into the Bible territory.
Okay, talk to
Saint
me.
Peter. Saint Peter. I might be. butchering the whole story here. I don't remember
That
exactly what happened, but
that's the
remember
chicken guy,
how
right?
it's the chicken guy, exactly. And I think Jesus Christ was about to I don't know, he was accused of something, I think, and he's about to get crucified. And Peter was saying, "Hey, like, you don't deserve to be crucified and all that stuff. Like, you shouldn't be."
Wait, hang on. Are you trying to tell the story?
I'm trying to tell the story out of my memory, which is probably
Let
super inaccurate.
let the Bible quiz champion 1998 take
Okay,
over.
well, tell me about it then. What happened?
Let the Bible quiz 1998.
I did 98. It was like back in elementary, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
So Jesus, well, Peter
Mm-hmm.
was like, to continue what you're saying, yeah, basically Peter was like, yo, Jesus, you're like, you're the dude, you're our master. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will go to war. I will go to war with you till the end. Like I got your back.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus was like, actually, I'm like
Right.
using the modern vernacular. Jesus
Mm-hmm.
is basically like, bro, actually, you're gonna deny me 3 times. By the time the rooster crows in the morning, you would have denied me 3 times just tonight. And Peter was like, I will never do that. I'm your boy till the end.
Mm-hmm.
So Peter, this was already when Jesus was
But he,
arrested, right?
right.
So Peter goes to his trial or something like that. So he
Mm-hmm.
goes in the crowd, watches Jesus, and
Mm-hmm.
then in the middle of that, like someone recognizes him, like, aren't you Peter? Don't you follow Christ? And Peter's like, no, that's not me. So he starts to run away.
Mm-hmm.
And so he moves past the crowd, goes to a different part, trying to get outside the building. Another person
Mm-hmm.
recognizes him, and then he denies him again. And then the third time, someone asks him again, and he's like, no, I don't know this. I don't know that guy. And as soon as he
Mm-hmm.
said that, the rooster crowed.
Mm.
And then Jesus, they locked eyes. And
Mm.
then, so that's the story. That's why Peter was the
Right.
chicken guy.
But there's a line in there where I know that was the full story, but I think Jesus
Yeah.
said something along the lines of um, this is exactly the reason why you're not going to be saved because you're thinking about things that humans care about or something. What Jesus is trying, it has something to do with ego. Man, I wrote about this. I can't remember which part of the Bible it was, but because yeah, Peter was he basically he was worried that he was telling Jesus Christ that, hey, you don't, like, you're Jesus Christ, you're like, you're a man, like, you don't deserve, to be crucified and all that other stuff. You don't deserve it. It has nothing to do with the betrayal. But
Gotta be careful with your mic, by the way. Mm.
oh yeah, and then Jesus Christ was like, what the heck, what the hell are you talking about?
Of course, he
um
didn't say that. He's like, what the HE
well,
double hockey sticks are you talking about?
what are you talking about? This is exactly the reason why you're not going to get saved, because you care about
I don't.
what other people think. It has something to do with ego. That's how I'm seeing it.
Mm,
Something to do with ego. Like, if you care too much about your ego, it's a little tough for you to to be saved by, I guess, life. If you're, you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
that that's basically where I'm getting at with this conversation. It's the ego. It's your ego that's going against the things that you, I guess, things that you want in life, or things that will improve you. It's what's holding you back. That's where I'm getting at. It's the ego. So going back, um, I'm gonna stitch that back into our conversation earlier. When
Please
people
do,
are
because I'm
talking,
lost.
when people are talking, And when you have a big ego, because I did have that too. I was narcissistic. My point of
Narcissism.
view is the only point of view that you should listen to, and therefore, and then I will stand my ground and prove you're wrong. I used to do that, but I
Yeah.
stopped doing that. So then when I see people do that to me, I can kind of, I can see the pattern. I
You
can see
know it.
myself.
Yeah.
I know it's coming. So then my move is not to argue back, but to just say, okay, sure. Anyway, right? Um,
Okay. I have over the years I've learned to, and this is like from listening podcasts and all that stuff.
mhm,
One thing that I've learned is like don't be married to your own opinion.
mhm,
Like always have that possibility that things are gonna, things that you believe in aren't the
yeah,
correct whatever.
yeah,
And what you believe in doesn't necessarily make up who you are as a person. Your ideas, I mean, never be married
mhm,
to your ideas because
yeah,
things change. And it's good to have a good discourse, a good not argument, but good discussion about things. And don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be right. As long as
yep.
it's a healthy, it's a non like destructive type of argument. Which kind of this remind now I remember what I was trying to say a while ago.
Mhm,
Growing up, because you talked about how to you people they're like flavors and all that, right?
mhm,
The way I looked at how relationships and communication was,
mhm,
I'm not even going to use past tense because I still use this like
mhm,
it's a present thing. I put rapport and harmony
mhm,
like on the top of the list of a lot of things.
mhm,
Like I like to preserve harmony and I like to create rapport with people.
mhm,
So when it comes to discussion and ideas, it's good to have disagreements and it's good to have discussion. But
mhm.
I always maintain the harmony, or at least I try to, for the most part.
That's
It's
good.
more like
Yeah.
yeah, let's we got to get along because in all honesty, regardless if I'm right, for example, and I'm stubborn and I'm like I'm telling you I'm right and you're wrong, but of
Mhm,
course you think you're right and
mhm,
you we were both like banging
yeah.
heads.
Mhm,
If you're not in a agreeable mood, if you're pissed off, if you're
mhm,
already thinking negative, do
mhm.
you think you're gonna be accepting to that idea that you're wrong?
No.
Not at all.
So we're basically
So
talking about the exact same thing.
so that's the reason why I'm telling you like you
Mhm.
can't be offensive regardless of what it is because if you
I,
start
I got
pissing
some.
those people off.
I got something. I got something to say there.
Okay.
Remember how what I said about relationship? Like the closer you are, um the farther you can push the envelope. You know what I mean? Like if since you and I are close, I can challenge your ideas to a point where I'm gonna take you off, but I know you're not gonna take it so hard that you're just gonna say, "Fuck it, I'm done with this shit." Right?
Yeah,
That's
agree.
what I mean. Like, however, if we haven't built that kind of relationship, when you say something, I'm just gonna, okay, I agree, because to add to what you're saying, I care about rapport too, right? More than more than me being right. Because a lot of times when I'm stating my case, again, it 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 challenges the other person's point of view, and when I do that, and if I fail to explain it properly, sometimes I get to explain it properly. I just wait for them to to listen. But if they're not ready to listen, I'm like, just screw this. Let's go with what you think, and then we're gonna agree that that's the right, that is right or correct. That makes sense.
Do you have a lot of those principles that I was telling you about that you can't move an inch, like you can't compromise those ideas of yourself, beliefs? Do you have a lot of
Um,
those?
right now I don't. Um, yeah, right now I don't because I'm more open to ideas now. I used to
Mm,
be close-minded too, but now I'm more open. Like if you say something different than what I'm saying, then I'm like, okay, so what makes you say that? Because then the moment I understand the gap in my thinking or thought, then I would accept yours, and I
right,
will,
knowledge, yeah.
yeah, and I will acknowledge that. However, if I find it skewed, that's when I'm gonna go, wait a second, have you considered this and that? And if that person's like, wait, I'm not done explaining yet, like, um, because how I do that, this is what I do to people. I ask them questions. I ask them questions such a way that it will lead them to what I'm really trying to say. Because me telling them what to believe it's tough. I do that to people at work. I experiment with people at work. Because here's a context. Like I'm I mean I'm part of a group where the group dynamic is really poor. Everyone, there's like three chefs in the kitchen, right? One's idea is better than the other, and no one is willing to listen to the other person. They're just pissed off at each other. So I'm working with I'm in that group where my team is not acknowledging their skills. We're not working
Mm,
as a team. That's what I'm trying to say. And I saw it as an opportunity to, how do I make it in such that we're all working together as a team. You know how I did it? I talked to them, individually, and get them to and pointed out or complimented whatever their strengths are, and made sure that the reason why this person is not listening is not because they don't want to listen. It's because their ideas are not acknowledged. And I don't know where I'm going with what I'm saying, but basically I think I was able to get them to work together, and I'm proud of myself for doing that.
mm.
And um, I'm not taking credit for that, but that's what I did.
You should
And
take credit for that.
right, well, they probably don't give a shit either, but I do care, and that's just for myself, right? And and by doing that, I noticed how, relating it back to what we're talking about, um, people just have, again, very strong opinions, and if you don't acknowledge that opinion, that's when they feel disrespected. And the moment they feel disrespected, they're not going to be ready to listen, which is what you're
Mm,
trying to say earlier too, right?
right.
That rapport, it has
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um, Go ahead.
so I have two things to add. One, I might have found one similarity of ours
What's that?
in what you said. In I used to be more close-minded when
Mm-hmm.
I was younger, but now I'm the same way as you. I'm receptive to new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't easily shut things down,
Mm-hmm. You know.
especially
It,
if it's if it's,
yeah.
especially if it's you know I, back on like previous episodes. I don't like taking an advice, but that's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's more like personally like my choice in life and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like specific just ideas in general, like I'm very receptive. I'm not like, man, you're wrong, whatever. Yeah,
You
I
know what
like
I know?
to. Hmm,
Yeah. Go ahead. You know what I noticed? Sorry, I didn't mean
yeah,
to cut you off there.
no, you're fine.
Um, when I give advice to people or say something that at first they're like, ah, fuck you, I don't believe what you're saying or whatever. They don't care. And then next thing I know, they're doing exactly what I asked them to do. And however, they're not gonna admit that. I guess what I'm trying to say is people are actually listening, even though people may uh, seem like they don't care. They tell you or they show you that they're not listening, when in reality they are. The moment the person shuts up and yeah, the moment the person shuts up and not go and if they're not going against your idea, I think that's how I know that they are listening, and that's a cue for me to, hey, I gotta shut the fuck up and let them, you know, consume that information that I just told them. Uh, and I also know that they're not gonna say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. They're not people are not gonna give you fucking credit for that shit. No one gives credit these days, and I'm trying to change that too. Like whenever I'm trying to become better at giving credit to other people, regardless if even if I did it, like I still try to pass it back to other people, and it's working well. It's how I'm building rapport with others. I use it at work. I don't know, like I use my workplace as a place to experiment with these ideas, and I see them work. Um, Now I don't know how that's related to whatever we're talking about, but basically what I'm trying to say is people listen. They're not going to show you that, but they listen.
So as far
Interesting.
as yeah, as far as like the similarity, I think that's one similarity that we do have, and it's
Hmm.
not. It's interesting because that wasn't a similarity back then. It's more of a okay. That's actually we have that in common right now.
Right now, though, but back then I was close-minded too.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I just said. Like
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
similarity that sprung right now. It's not a similarity from
Oh,
back in
yeah.
the past.
Yeah. And it's funny too. Like imagine like when you see someone who's close-minded. I don't know it, when I see someone who's close-minded, I don't know how you approach those kind of people, but sometimes I just move on. I don't even try.
I'm a lot. I'm. That's another thing too. Like I like to be funny, and I like like the
Fuck,
whole
me too. And that's
going
something that
back.
we have in common.
Yeah, going back to the whole like the meaner you are, the funnier you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's my exterior, but at this what's happened over the years is I've gotten a little bit more kind when it comes to things like that. Like if someone
Hmm.
is close minded or someone is this like something negative, the first thing that comes in my mind is that's just that's just where they are in their specific timeline. That doesn't mean
Hmm.
that's not them as a person, because they have a potential to grow into something
Hmm.
else. Who knows if it's a better version of themselves or a worse version of themselves? But you cannot not accept. You cannot accept someone. That's why I think everything is so fluid, man. It's not
It
just like
is. It is.
you can't. It's
Yep.
if you adopt that mindset that everything is fluid, especially when it comes to like someone, like it's a lot easier to forgive people.
Yep.
So especially
Yep.
like it's just who they are at the moment. It doesn't they don't stop growing. They don't what like going back. I
Hmm.
keep hammering this. Whether or not they become worse versions of themselves or better, they
Hmm.
never stop growing unless you die. That's when you stop. But as long
Hmm.
as you're alive, you get you get input every single day. Your experience are your experiences are your input, and that changes whether or not you're aware of it. You're gonna
Yeah.
change.
Well, it's funny how people tell you sometimes, You're such a good person. Please don't change or something." But fuck, everyone's evolving every fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's evolving. Who you are today, you're not. We're not the same person anymore. Like back
Mm-hmm.
if you go back 10 years ago, we're like, we're different. We are always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
People are always changing, and but if you're close-minded, then maybe it's a little tougher for you because there's not a lot of input in there. You're not there's not a lot of
Yeah,
growth.
if you're just a stubborn person, especially,
Yeah.
and that's why. it's understandable that a lot of older folks, the term, what do you call that? It's a
Old
Filipino
dogs.
term. Yeah, yeah, it's like matiga. I don't remember, but basically, it's like the old tree doesn't bend or something like that.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
know
hard.
something about dogs and new tricks.
Yeah, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's harder because I kind of I kind of want to tie this back to ego.
Yeah.
Like the older you are, how dare you talk to me? Like you're 40 years younger than me. What do you know about life? I know this. You know, that's a form of ego, man.
It is. It is. They think the problem them sitting there is old age has nothing to do with experience. Like, you
Well,
you can live in this, right?
I disagree. Because I agree with them to a certain extent that
Mm-hmm.
of course you have more experience, you have more input, you've lived life longer than I did, of course, so I'm gonna by that in default I respect your position in life that you've lived this life longer than I have. But
Right.
if there is a certain knowledge that I know and I'm confident in that knowledge, in that
Mm-hmm.
belief,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna abandon that idea just because you're older than I am.
Yeah.
That your age doesn't constitute being correct. It
Yep.
gives you
No.
it gives you more credibility, but it doesn't make you automatically correct, and
Yeah.
it doesn't invalidate my ideas just because I'm younger than you are.
Um. Yeah, and that's what I've always felt when I was just starting my career. Right. Just came out of school, 20. I think I was 20 years old. 19. No, 20. I'd say 2021. And you start your first job, and I was almost always the youngest employee, and the positions that I've held there, it's not like work in a shop. Like people kind of report to me. I'm not trying to lift my own chair here, but
It's a pretty small
people don't
chair, but
people don't respect you. They don't give a fuck.
that's
um,
called pride, man. It's called pride.
um, so then I'm like, I had to learn how to deal with that with people. One time I had to work with this Filipino dude, um, Tito. I called him Tito. It's because one of my coworkers left, and then he was kind of his replacement. So what happened was, well, replacement in such a way because replacement in a way because one left, so therefore there's a room, so he was hired. And then so what I did was, no, what happened was I introduced him to one of our suppliers. He was in the office, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Mike, here's Tito here. He's you know, uh, this guy's replacement." And then you know what Tito said? "I'm not his replacement. I was hired here to, do some improvements here and there." Basically, he was saying that he has a different title than my other coworker that left. In my head, "Excuse me. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to, you know, step on your freaking title." And that tells me that, and this guy's a Tito, right? He had a big ego. And I remember that time too when, again, we're talking about rapport. And I know he has a big ego. So then I'm like, I say things like, "Hey, you're so good at what you do. I know you have experience here, Toyota there. Like I'd love to learn from you," right? Kind of
So you were basically sucking him off. That's what you're trying to do.
fucking rights to build that relationship. And then I think it went over his head because there's that one time, "Hey, did you?" I think he was asking me something, and then every time I give him an answer, he goes, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it this and that. That's not the right way to do it." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, you just hopped on board, man. Like, what the fuck do you know? I know you work from all these other companies, but geez, calm the fuck down with the knowledge." Because uh, first of all, like this company that I was working for, it's a small company. in my head, if you were that skilled, why the heck are you working in this company then? You should be working somewhere better. But maybe because you couldn't find another job and that's why you're stuck here. Fuck. So calm the fuck down with this is me being angry now. Calm the fuck down with the knowledge. And I remember pissing him off too, because I remember that one time I was right across him and he goes, "Hey, how did you do this? How did you do that?" And all I did was I did a big sigh. I was like, right, here we go again, kind of thing. And it's like, fine. If you don't want to tell me, then fine. Okay, then don't learn from me. You don't need to learn from me anymore. And I'm like, Tito, calm down. Like, it's just that it's, I'm open to listening, but sometimes I'm busy too, and I can't keep hearing you saying that I'm doing the wrong thing. Like, come on, man, that's not how things work. I don't know what happened since then, but and long story short, this
People
person got fired.
people that are like that are always like telling you like trying to put you down to make themselves feel better.
Mhm.
Those are people that have bad experiences and just I don't know, just life did them wrong and they feel better by doing that.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Well, before I ask you this, I have another similarity that I just remembered that we do have.
Okay.
We both love The Alchemist.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Go ahead.
and I think Paulo Coelho is
Yeah. Coelho.
well, is it Coelho? Coelho? What?
Yeah.
Paulo
Whatever. Yeah.
pa,
Go ahead.
Paulo Coelho. He's he's up there when it comes to like someone that I totally like his words are like the Bible to me. Like
Okay.
I live by his words.
Do you
But
still
that's
feel
not
the
what
same
I
way?
yeah, like
Yeah.
the warrior of the light is I read that every day. I read a page a day, like a random
Oh,
page.
really? I
Yeah, and I
lost my
just
copy. I think I left mine at Albert's apartment there in back
I don't
in
know
Toronto.
who's that.
Um, one of the guys from our school in our class.
Oh,
I used to
oh,
live with him.
Albert.
Albert,
So
Albert, Albert. I think I left
wait,
it in his apartment.
we'll get you another one because like the copy that I still have is the copy that I had when you visited one time. I still have the same exact copy,
Wow.
and I
I
kind of like
bought,
it. Yeah, I
but
kind of like it because it's all like destroyed. Like the front part is all like jacked, but it
that's
gives it
how
character.
that that's how much
Hmm.
you've read it.
No, well, no, because like there's a point in life where I lost it. I didn't know where it was at,
And then you
and then
realized it was sitting under
and
your
then I
bed or
found
something.
it. Yeah,
Oh.
some weird crap like that. But let me get into this one topic.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, to be okay, go ahead.
no, because this is gonna be a longer discussion. Go ahead and say what you want to say.
No, this is we're gonna have to save this for the next episode. I was just gonna say you were the one who introduced. So I owe you this. Like you were the one who introduced me to Paulo Coelho, and right,
Definitely a bigger episode. Yeah, because
right, yeah, and
we have
and that's where fucking things changed. But
yeah we
anyways,
yeah
let's go back to that next time.
we have to treat that with respect and spend a whole episode on that.
Right?
So do you think that can you put an age limit to someone following their dreams?
No.
Okay. So do you think that someone our age, for example, if we
Hmm.
find the calling that we
Hmm.
want or the
Hmm.
calling that we're like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do. But
Hmm.
in order for me to do this, I have to start from scratch, ground zero, and work my way up. What do you think about that?
Say that again. Like you have to start from ground zero. If
Yeah, it's basically like you're starting over. and you don't have the luxury of youth to back you up, because obviously, we're not old, but we're at a point where we can't afford a lot of mistakes. If we do start.
Yeah. Like here's what I think about that. Look, like when you say start from scratch, what does that even mean? Because you're never starting from scratch. You have setbacks. And whatever um, all your past experiences, there are some things in there that you learn that you can bring into this new venture, that whatever you're trying to do.
Okay.
If that, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
never.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
see it
I'm
as scratch. Yeah.
I'm being too vague. Okay. Not scratch. Full pun intended. Not scratch, but you're basically going back. It's like starting a new job. You're not
Mm-hmm.
your position from your current job
Mm-hmm.
does not follow your new job, especially if you change careers. For example, okay, think of it like that. It's a change in
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
So
Like let's say if I wanted to become a writer, right? No, that's a different one. Or
yeah,
if I wanted to
yeah,
become a
yeah,
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 yeah.
basically like that. So following your dream should your age discourage you from
No,
trying to fulfill your personal legend? That's a
no,
Paulo Coelho term, by the way. But
yeah,
go ahead.
no, no, no.
Mm,
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. No,
it shouldn't, right?
it's
No
yeah,
matter how hard it is.
yeah. Like if see, here's the thing. If you don't have the patience to push through, then it's not for you. But you have to try, right? You have to try really hard, because then if you fail and you're like, ah, screw this, it's not worth it, then you find something else to do.
Yeah, at
And
least you've tried it, and you can say to
right.
yourself that, okay, I believed in my heart that this was my personal legend, but it turned out it wasn't.
Yeah, because it's
At
not what
least you
it
can say
is.
that, right?
It's
At least you
always
can say that.
yeah, it's always a step towards what you really wanted to do. When it comes to, I guess business people use this a lot too. Like when you're trying to find a business venture, you have to try a lot of things to find out what you really want to do. Um, every failure, every setback, there's a lesson behind it that you can use towards your next venture. So I'm going to loop this back to starting from scratch. You're never really starting from scratch. It's always a start. I don't know if that answered your question.
That kind of, well, to share with you a little bit of,
There's a
um,
context behind that question, right?
yeah, there is a context, because I feel that I am in the genesis of a new chapter of life, and I feel like I'm about to decide on this new adventure. And this adventure is a very, very long and very, very hard road.
Okay. All vague, but
And
okay, keep going.
yeah, and I'm gonna keep it vague.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be a long, hard road,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not ready for discouragement yet,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like as soon as I put this out in the universe, I will meet a lot of, I don't think you could do this. I don't think you could. That's what humanity, the people that are close to me, the people that I trust, and
Yeah.
people that have encountered, no offense, but encountered like disappointments. They're gonna tell me I can't do it, but
Yeah.
for some reason, bro, like this venture that I'm deciding on doing, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
this might be my personal legend.
Yeah.
But I'm protecting it right now. Like I can't. I don't want to like. I just kind of want to go flow under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Why is that though? Why do you have to keep it a secret? It's not like you're
I just said it. That's the reason. I don't.
all right.
I want to. I want to protect the innocence of my idea, of my dreams, by not letting people like put negative thoughts on it.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. I'm the same way, right? I like I'm I I do a lot of things right now that makes people go, okay, well, why the hell do you do this? And people ask why. Well, I couldn't give him a good answer other than, fuck, I love doing this shit, right? And what if I can make money on top of it, then let's do it. Why not?
Okay,
Um,
I'm
you know what I
gonna
mean?
I'm gonna tell you what it is after the podcast, and I
You
want
don't
to
want
see
it to
what you're.
go out in public.
Not yet. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to find out, much less the public. So I
yeah.
want to see. I think your reaction is gonna be different.
From everyone else, you know
No,
why?
from your initial, you said like, yeah, follow your dreams
Oh,
regardless.
well,
I think you're gonna have a change of heart.
we'll see. Because
You're
I'm
gonna
trying to,
be you're gonna be my test
yeah,
to see if
yeah.
yeah.
But that's one out of, you should, if I were you should send out a kind of like what I did. I sent out a kind of like a survey
Mm-mm.
only to people, right? But here's the thing. Why why is it that other people's opinion matter if this is something that you really wanted to do? I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen. Sometimes you should listen because the people around you, they're there for sanity check too.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and some people say, yeah, man, yeah, you do you. No, you fucking listen to people too, but listen to a credible feedback. If you're grabbing feedback from someone you don't even know who, or who doesn't know you, then that's a crappy feedback, right? But if you're asking feedback from your friends or family, those things matter. But take note too that when it comes to asking feedback from these people, a lot of them are trying to protect you, right? They don't want you to
Hmm.
get hurt. If you're about to go on a journey that's that I say,
Long and
if
hard.
it's a high risk, if it's a high
Hmm.
risk, and if you're gonna get hurt in the process, they're probably not gonna want you to do it because it's tough and because they care.
So you see, that's the wrong reason to discourage someone.
Well, that's I'm gonna loop this back to the start of this podcast. Remember, my daughter was crying. My daughter was crying, right? I wanted to go in there and save her and stop her from crying and give her all the love in the world. But if I do that, how is she going to learn how to sleep on her own? How is she going to learn the skill of sleeping, right?
Hmm.
There's a price to it. It hurts to see her, from a distance and hear her cry her lungs out. But in the end, she'll learn how to put herself to sleep. And that's a skill that she's probably going to be proud of. She's going to hate me, I guess. Maybe she's going to hate her parents. But now she's more prepared in life. Like she has a skill. You know what I mean? It's messed up how things are, but that's our parents' role, right? To protect their kids. But sometimes, um, we do it so much that there's a thin line in there that you don't want to cross.
You gotta have that balance. You can't coddle your kids
Yep,
to where it's you're protecting them from things that they need to
yep,
undergo. They need to go through it.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And
But
and
yeah,
and, and going back to what you're saying there, it, it people will try to pull you down, not because they want to pull you down, but because they probably just don't think that you can do it. But
that's the
it's
main
not.
thing. I know for a fact that that's what people are gonna
Of,
tell me.
well, of
I
course.
I don't
Like
think you can do it.
hey, if I tell you right now, I want to be I don't know, like I want to be a basketball player, NBA, right? Be like, okay, you're smoking your own crack. What the hell are you
Well,
on right
that
now?
okay. Well,
I'm
that's
being I'm
different.
being I'm exaggerating. I'm
Yeah,
exaggerating. I get it. I'm exaggerating. But in any new ventures though, if people hasn't seen a quality of you that aligns with that new venture, obviously the gut reaction is, nah, I don't know. You could try, right? Um, However, in your head, well, it's either we'll see how you do it, or it's more like, hey man, you're wasting your time, and I'm telling you right now that you're wasting your time because I care. You know
You
what I
see,
mean?
that
It's coming
that's
from a good place.
yeah, I agree. I agree. For the most
Yeah.
part, it is. But that's and I'm guilty of this too. Humanity, people are just in general are so goddamn afraid of failure that it stops their potential because of fear of failure. The fear of failure is so strong that it limits your potential and the possibilities, the doors that you can open because you're so scared that of the feeling of not
Yep.
achieving whatever you got your heart set into.
Yep.
And I feel that we should, at least for me, like I'm not scared to fail.
That's what I
I'm
want to.
not scared.
That's what I want to
Yeah,
teach my daughter,
I'm not scared
because
to fail.
it where you
And you shouldn't.
the,
Your
right.
daughter shouldn't.
Yeah, this new mindset of yours, though, has it always been that way?
Not at all.
Eggs, fucking exactly. Because it's the same
Not at
thing with
all.
me. I wasn't that way, but now I am that way. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not scared of failing.
bro.
Remember I
Life is
told you
too
about
short.
pushing envelope,
Yeah,
right?
life is too short.
And sometimes you just gotta have to take those small little risks, and those little risks add up.
You
Because
could
if you
even
don't try,
argue. Yeah, you could even argue that what you get from failing is better. Is good for you. Like the
yes.
experience that you get from failing is good for you. It does like it goes back. Let's loop it back to like the previous episode. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, but a lot
It
of
really
people
is.
don't fucking take that, uh,
Oh yeah, definitely,
way. It's not,
definitely.
yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying. Maybe that's another thing that we both have in common today.
Look at that. We're finding more similarities than we can think of.
Right, but not on everything, right?
Definitely
But
not.
these are all principles in life, though, right? Like, you have to be open. You shouldn't be scared of failing. And this is what I tell even
Easier,
my
easier said than
e-
done though.
easier said than done, right? But sometimes, I don't know. Like, I think you go through a phase in life where, remember how, I'm assuming, people go through their own struggles. I've had, like, I think I was depressed too at some point in my life, but I was able to pass through that. But now that I'm past that, I am now more equipped to, think this way, think about failures differently. Um, I'm actually writing about this, on this, that blog that was rejected. Now another opportunity showed up, and now I want to write for a publication. It's, it's for a magazine. Anyways, I don't want to get there, but part of that blog is, encouraging people to fail, but don't fail intentionally, because that's just stupid. You have to fail. Like, the failure that you're going to go through needs to be a result of, um, putting in your best effort. You have to try. You have to try and fail, because every failure that you get is an insight that you can apply towards your next venture. And I'm going to loop this back to starting from scratch. You never start from scratch. There are lessons that you learned along the way that you can add to it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. I agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, maybe you can tell me all about it later. Because even
yeah.
I, like, when it comes to, like, drawing, fuck, at first, yeah, I wanted to, produce, MS Paint artwork and all that stuff, right? Because I had the time, but now I don't have the time. Now, am I still willing to put time to produce those kind of artworks? Not anymore. And then I've been, like, listening to podcasts, and then realized that, because I haven't worked on my artwork for a long time, and realized that maybe I don't want to be an artist. Not something that would, I won't say artist, but I don't want to be someone. I don't want to be an illustrator. I
Mm.
can if I have the time, but that's not something that I want to be known for. It's not something that I want to be uh, focusing my time on. But I'm interested in design.
I'm curious to this term. You've been saying this a lot, and I want to get into this mindset. You always say, "I don't want to be known for this."
Hmm.
Explain that to me. Like, why do you say that term?
It's me creating my personal brand. If
Okay.
you if you let's say if I'm trying to um, create a personal brand, I have to be very specific, right? I can't be a jack of all trades. If you go to my website, I
You
have,
can if you want.
yeah, but it's tougher, right? Let's um, if I wanted to be known as an artist, if I wanted my brand to be someone who creates artwork using MS Paint, then I need to double down on that. That's what I'm going to be known for. But I can't be that and the guy who writes um, about um, work, right? And yeah, like there's like two different personas in there. I have to
Hmm.
pick one, and the other will
Hmm.
complement the other. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
It's it has something to do with marketing. I'm not saying that that I don't want to be. How do I say this?
Because
If
that's such an interesting mindset. Because I've never thought of that at all. Like I've never thought about.
it has less
I
to
don't
do
want to
with
be
mindset.
known for this.
Has less to do with mindset. It has something to do with more has more to do with your personal brand out in the internet.
Okay, your personal brand, but you're obviously, you're an illustrator because you've done so many illustrations. So
Right?
it must mean that you do want to be known for that, at least partly, because
Partly.
you
If I
because you did it.
right, I like I can tell
You
if
can't control what's gonna pop, bro. Like you
right.
can't control it.
But
Because
what I'm saying is it's a skill that I have, right? I can do that, but it's not really something that I can or wanted to do forever. Um, and that's what I keep saying, and that's what I meant by if I wanted to be known for something, I wanted to be known for something that I'm really passionate about, and it's something that I want to keep doing.
yeah, first of all, you can't control what you're gonna be known for, especially if all these are already out in public.
Yeah, I,
So if
again, I agree.
yeah, yeah, if your art, for example, someone discovers it and they're like, oh,
Hmm.
this is awesome, and then it snowballs into fame. For example, you get like
Hmm.
famous in your city, whatever.
Hmm.
Even if you don't want to be known for as that, if that's the one that pops, that's the one that pops. That's you can't control it.
That's fair. That's fair. So then, I guess what I'm basically trying to say is like I am both, but I need to be. But one of them needs to be one of writing versus illustrating. One of them needs to stand out more than the other, right? You want one of them to complement the other part of you, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
It has something to do with like marketing and branding. Um, so yeah, where were we?
Yeah. See,
Trying hard.
I've never thought of it like that because in like me personally, I'm more like I I don't have to choose whatever. I don't have to choose if I'm this or this. It's every bit of it is me. Like
I
I'm
get that.
yeah, I'm every bit of a podcaster. We're
Right.
actually podcasters now.
Yeah.
I'm every bit of a podcaster as I am as an
Hmm.
artist, as a musician. I'm not gonna, I can't choose because they're all you can't separate those two. That's Ralph.
Right. But
And okay, what's your butt?
after a while, you need to do it strategically. You have to be strategic as to who you are out there. Personally,
Mm.
people know you for, X, Y, and Z, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But when you go to when you go out in public, I just want to be known as B or C or D. You know what I mean? It just need to be known as an expert in one field and not an
You see,
expert in all different fields.
okay. You see, that's where we're different. Like just by saying that, I just want to be known. I don't care what I'm known for. Like I never wanted to be known as one thing.
Mm.
Like I want to be known for all of it. Like that's me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Like I don't. If someone discovers me from the music side, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If someone discovers me from here, that's fine. If someone just gets to know me personally in a personal level, that's fine too. It's
Right.
all a package.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I am engineering that brand
Right.
such that it goes that way.
Yeah.
If I stop producing art and starts writing more today, then I'm gonna be known more for the writing as opposed to the artwork. You know
I
what I
get
mean?
it. I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from.
Okay. So
It's just that I'm just like,
that's that
hmm, hmm.
that's right. Yeah. Again, there's the struggle between identity, right? Like online identity. Because I want to be
Hmm.
this, I want to do that. I'm like, fuck, you do all these things.
But you
Oh,
know what we need? What we know? What we both need to do
what? End
is to
this.
end this podcast.
End this podcast because I gotta get
Hmm.
up early tomorrow and yeah,
Yeah.
set the
So thank you
place up
guys.
for my
Thank you guys for supporting us, listening. Please keep whatever it is, like, subscribe to the channel, comment,
yeah.
tell us what you guys, think about it.
Send us a private message. I'm challenging you guys to send a
Follow
private
us.
message.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
Balikbayan Box Pod. I think that's what the channel's called.
Ask
Balikbayan
us a
Box Pod.
question, right? Ask a
Mm-hmm.
question, and if there's something that you guys want us to talk about,
We will
let's hear it.
talk about it.
Let's hear it, right? And then, or maybe you can come pop into the podcast too. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's start a conversation first, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank you
guys.
guys. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao, baby.
Ciao.